evening and welcome to Melbourne Victory members and fans. It's Victory TV. The boys are at Bankwest Stadium and we look forward to previewing this big clash for Melbourne Victory against Western United tonight. My name's Michael Zappone. Welcome to a historic broadcast, and joining me to preview this big game is Theo. Well, Michael, welcome.
Great to be here, Zappa. Really looking forward to it. 2
championships with Melbourne Victory, 5 in total. Where are you keeping all those medals? The only player in the history of the A-League, ladies and gentlemen, to win 5 championship medals. Do you have them tucked away in a drawer somewhere?
They are tucked away, Zappa. I think they're collecting dust somewhere, so I'm sure my son will find them one day.
But the first one, a big one for you, and great memories at the club.
Spot on. Obviously, being a Melburnian and representing Melbourne Victory in the inaugural A-League season, very fond memories. Obviously, the first year didn't go according to plan, but I'll tell you what, we made amends for it year 2 and year 4 as well.
A lot's happened since then, and since the last Hyundai A-League game, of course. 4 months in between drinks, and some players have departed the club. We'll see some new players, young players getting their opportunity tonight. But on behalf of the Melbourne Victory Football Club, a big thank you to all the fans and the members who've stood by the club over the last 4 months. And a big thank you to the sponsors as well. The principal partner of the Melbourne Victory Football Club, Metricon Homes, and the match day partner tonight is KFC. Michael, take us through the last few months. It's been crazy times, hasn't it? The isolation for the players. Getting up to Sydney was tough, to say the least. Mentally, how difficult would it have been being a player?
It would have been extremely difficult. Obviously, speaking to a couple of the guys as well, they talked me through the process, and not just for those younger players, obviously the older players have got families and young families that they wanted to bring across up to Sydney, and for everything to go wrong, which did, it was frustrating for them and their families, but I'll tell you what, they're a very professional bunch, and they'll get on with it. They're just super excited about playing tonight's game and finally having this season suspension, I suppose, of the season, and getting through the pre-season and getting back to the football pitch.
You've been on plenty of away trips with your clubs over the years. Take us into hub life. What's it going to be like for the players in camp? They've been there for 14 days now. Isolation ends today, so they're able to step outside the hotel for the first time in a while.
Yeah, normally you go away for a week or 10-day camp, but obviously this has been 2 weeks. And I'll tell you what, these young boys, what a fantastic opportunity for them. 18, 19-year-olds going into state, given an opportunity not just to represent this great club, but for them professionally to. A lot of them might be making their debut tonight or in future games. It's just a great opportunity, and Grant Brebner, I'll tell you what, he's done a fantastic job as well. Really got him behind the group and driving training sessions, and the enthusiasm he showed. Hopefully these young boys really step up to the plate.
A lot's changed, of course, since the last game. The captain at the start of the season was Ulla Toivonen. He's now back at home. Tim Hoogland, Jakob Poulsen, quite a few players are back in Europe due to COVID and other reasons. How would that impact the younger boys in the squad? I suppose also the older boys, because they've had to step up. Players like Nabbout and Rojas given a more senior opportunity now to lead.
Yeah, spot on. And again, as mentioned before, it's an opportunity for these young boys. One they might likely not have had, given those names you just mentioned. They're big names, and now they have to step up. And I suppose as I said before, the opportunity is fantastic, but the insight in having Grant Brebner as the head coach, obviously being their youth team coach, he knows them inside out, and he knows, and they know what is expected of them. So it's a great opportunity. One I'm sure they're looking forward to. Of course, young boys, they might make a mistake here and there, but in terms of their enthusiasm, Grant Brebner's just going to say, boys, enjoy it, go out and play the Victory way. Be proud to wear that shirt. You know
Grant Brebner very well. Obviously, spent a lot of time with him over the years. A little bit of an insight into the man. He's not someone that probably would have expected to be head coach at this point of his career, but what do you think his mentality will be coming into tonight's game?
Again, it's an opportunity for him too, Zap, as mentioned, these young boys, for him as well. Like Grant, listening to interviews he's made so far, he's just positive. He's so proud to be the Melbourne Victory coach. He's looking forward to the challenge. It's one that he's helped these younger boys in particular get through these last 3-4 months. And as I said, speaking to a few of the guys during these interesting and difficult times, they've just can't speak highly enough in terms of Grant, his personality, his coaching, his his methodology, the way he wants to play. He's really bringing pride back into that shirt, and I'm super pumped for him as well, making his obviously debut as head coach as Melbourne Victory.
And good to see Jeff Hopkins there alongside him as well as the assistant and the W-League coach with an opportunity to assist over the next 5 games. Well, let's hear directly from the head coach, Grant Brebner. He caught up with Chris Gospel a little bit earlier.
Brebsy, thanks very much for your time. First game tonight as the head coach, how are you feeling?
Yeah, a little nervous, I must admit, Chris, but really looking forward to it. It's nerves of, excitement really. So hopefully the boys put a good account on, and I'm sure they will.
How's the build-up been for tonight's game?
Well, considering we've built up for it probably 3 times now, it's been great. The players have been really focused. It's been an interrupted build-up in terms of getting up here into Sydney. But once we got here, the 2 weeks we've spent training has been really good. The players know their jobs in and out of possession, and hopefully we see that tonight.
What's been your key messages to the team?
Look, we've had a difficult season this year, and at times, I think we've not played our best football. So, I'm asking players to be brave. I'm asking players to make mistakes and make more mistakes, and get on the ball. And the more times they get on the ball, the better chance we have of playing good football and pressing the opposition in terms of making them defend. So I want to be competitive. There's no doubt that Melbourne Victory teams have always been competitive. So get on the ball, demand the ball, be competitive when we don't have it, and hopefully that stands us in good stead.
Aaron Anderson makes his debut tonight. What can you tell us about him as a defender?
Yeah, so Aaron's been in the system now for a number of years, and he deserves his chance. He's a tough defender. He won't shy away from a tackle. He won't shy away from using his body. And on the ball, he's a good passer as well. So, we've got a game plan tonight to get the ball to our front 3 as quickly as possible. When you have players like Marco, Elvis and Andy up front, we want to use that. So Azza will be getting his head up and looking beyond those lines and seeing if we can get players in behind.
What are you expecting from Western United tonight?
Well, they're a good side. We know the quality they have, Diamante, Bessart, Burgess up front. So our back 4 are going to have their work cut out. But, in many respects, that's an easy one because we know that they're going to be in for a tough night. They've got midfielders that like to get on the ball and play. We're going to have to nullify that. So our players are well dressed and rehearsed in what we want to do to stop them playing. But in all honesty, Chris, my main concern is what we do rather than worrying about what they do.
All the best for tonight, Brebs.
Thank you.
A huge night for Grant Brebner. Can he get the first win over Western United in his debut night as coach? Let's head over to Bankwest Stadium now. Tonight on Fox Sports, calling the action is Brenton Speed. He joins us live from Bankwest. Thanks for joining us, Speedy. What are the conditions like in Sydney tonight?
Yeah, g'day, boys. It's been a really good week weather-wise. Been out on the golf course a couple of times, but it's all turned Saturday. And it's really ugly. And the weather, the heavens started to open about half an hour ago, and we could be in for some slip and slide tonight because it's going to get torrential at some stages, apparently, according to the weather forecasters.
Speedy, you must be excited the A-League's finally back and that you're calling games again. How do you see tonight's game playing out?
Yeah, pumped to be back. The action's coming thick and fast, and now the Melbourne teams can get involved. These 2 teams tonight, Melbourne Victory and Western United, have been sharing the same hotel in the northwest of Sydney. They finally beat the quarantine at midday today. They could step outside and weren't breaching any protocols. So, I'm expecting a really exciting game between these 2. I was lucky enough to call their first game when the Victory took that 2-0 lead and were pegged back in a 5-goal thriller with Scott McDonald scoring the winning goal. That's how long ago it was. Of course, Scott McDonald now a Brisbane Roar player. So I think we're going to see the Victory youngsters get a chance. Grant Brebner has spoken about that. So young Anderson in defence and the excitement of Laurie Latanzio off the bench. He talks about the pace that this kid possesses, who went to an under-17 World Cup not that long ago. I'm excited to see him make his A-League debut potentially off the bench tonight. And hasn't Grant Brebner made a big call as well with that change in goal? Matt Acton starting his first A-League game of the season for Lawrence Thomas.
Yeah, lots to look forward to tonight, including your calls, Speedy. We look forward to tuning in on Fox Sports. And Theo, thanks for joining us. Stay dry and keep practising that golf swing, mate. We look forward to getting you down here in Melbourne one day soon. Let's have a look now at our match day preview, thanks to KFC. Now, Michael, two teams in different positions, but both with an opportunity to make the finals. I know Melbourne Victory have got a long way to go. 10 points off the pace, but 15 points up for grabs. Western United right in the hunt, though.
Spot on, and it was great to see Grant Brebner speak, and his focus has been on this game in particular against Western United. We're not going to look too far ahead. They've had 6 weeks to prepare for it, so it's been a great in terms of preparation. Let's focus on that, and let's not put a ceiling on it. Let's see where it takes us. If we can get a good result tonight, then let's see. In terms of Western United, obviously they're looking at that top 6. They hit a bit of form the last 2 games when the season was postponed. They scored 11 goals in 2 games, so for them it was probably bad timing in terms of the season stopping, but they'll be looking forward to it, and sort of like it's a pre-season and the season starting all over again. So that all goes out the window as far as I'm concerned. Let's
have a look at the record between these two so far this season. The last time these sides met, Michael, it was Victory who took the lead through Andrew Nabbout, but then a rally from Western United. 2 wins for Western United against Melbourne Victory. They'd love that, the Victory opponents tonight, but something to prove for Melbourne Victory this evening to get one back.
Yeah, exactly right. Obviously, they've scored 3 goals on 2 occasions, so they'll go into this game quite confident. But in saying that, it's a great opportunity for this young Melbourne Victories team to obviously put in a good performance and hopefully reverse the ledger and get a win, and for its supporters as well.
You speak about that goal-scoring record. We know one player is pretty good for them. We'll touch on him a little bit later, next Melbourne Victory play. But what does Grant Brebner do to try and quell some of that free-flowing goal scoring? It's not just about stopping the number 9.
Of course not. Obviously, defensively, they're going to want to keep it tight. Grant mentioned in his interview that, of course, they're going to be busy. That's a given. So they have to defend collectively as a group, making sure they limit their opportunities, because we know that, particular Bess as well, that he can score some goals. But for me, it's about what we do. And in terms of attacking sense, he wants to get the ball as quick as possible to the front 3, because they're 3 dangerous players and they can cause them a lot of trouble going the other way. So, as I said, it's more about us and obviously limiting their opportunity.
Grant Brebner spoke during the week about giving some younger players an opportunity, and he does that tonight. So we'll have a look at the starting formation in a moment, but we know that it's a very young bench especially. Tell us a little bit about some of those younger players and how they'll be feeling coming into tonight.
Yeah, of course they're going to be nervous, but that's normal and that's expected. And I suppose the beauty for them, or the beautiful thing for them, is that they've worked under Grant Brebner. They know what's expected from him, and also, representing Melbourne Victory, playing for that jersey. So for me, the pressure's off. It's, boys, get out there, enjoy yourselves. You know what you're going to do. Of course, there's going to be pre-game nerves and going to the stadium, that hour preparing for the game. But once they get out there, get on the ball, get that confidence up, hit your first pass, then things will flow and it's business as usual.
We've heard a lot about Birkin Kurta. He made his debut in an Asian Champions League game a couple of years ago. He plays a number 10 role tonight. A huge night for him, but from what I understand, he's a kid that just takes it all on. He's a pretty confident young man.
And that's what you want, exactly. I'm sure he's going to want the ball facing forward, getting in good positions, and obviously getting the front 3 involved as well. So it's going to be an opportunity. There's 5 games in the space of 3 weeks, so they're all going to be given an opportunity, and for them it's a matter of taking it. As I said before, they can train all they want and prepare all they want. Now's the time to step up and say, you know what, I belong here on the big stage. All
right, let's have a closer look at some of Melbourne Victory's key players this evening. Andrew Nabbout, 27 years of age now, Michael. He's got 9 Socceroos caps to his name. He played a big role in the last World Cup campaign. Of course, it was the preferred number 9 at the start of the tournament, then suffered that terrible shoulder injury which made him miss out. But he's his second stint at the club. 15 games, 5 goals this season. 18 games, but 5 goals this season for him.
Yeah, spot on. And for me, obviously with Ola up front, previously he was playing out wide, and I'd love to see Nabbout as a number 9, and most likely he will play in that position tonight. And I want him to be the main man where he's going to score the goals. In the past, he's obviously used his pace on the wing as well. He's quite quick. He's had injury concerns throughout this campaign, and he's had little niggly injuries, and he probably hasn't been at his best. In saying that, he still contributed to the team, and if Melbourne Victory are going to have success today, they obviously need him to dominate teammate and obviously players around him to take up that slack that we've mentioned, these players that are missing. But yeah, for me, it's just that final ball, final decision, crossing, can he hit a target? He's just got to work on that side of the game, and for me, he's a fantastic player.
He seems like a player who thrives on confidence, and sometimes when things don't go away, perhaps his confidence levels might drop a little bit. Is that one of the things that Brebs will be talking to him about, just to focus? He know you can do it. You just keep going, Cav, and back yourself.
Spot on, and he does show his emotions, which I personally like. He lets you know if he doesn't receive a ball, if he's missed, he's not happy. Sometimes he throws his hands up in the sky. But look, he's one of those confidence players, and majority of the players are. If things are going their way, he's super pumped. And yeah, for Victory to get a good result tonight, they really need him to fire.
Our next player we're going to have a look at has had 3 stints at Melbourne Victory. Marco Rojas, one of the crowd favourites and members' favourites at the club. Started off the season with some injuries and was really eased into the starting 11. So wasn't as quick fire as we'd expect from him normally. But what have you made of his start so far this season for Marco Rojas? 6 games only, and he's scored a couple of goals.
Well, he came in late in the piece, and I remember when Melbourne Victory announced his signing, I was pumped because I'd love to see him obviously playing for Melbourne Victory, and he's such a fantastic player. He needed time to adjust, obviously not having game time. He was lacking overseas, and that's why he came back to Australia. So Melbourne Victory in good hands in the terms of Marco. He's such a creative player. He's so skillful on the ball. He's one of those players that you love to watch. So we definitely need him tonight to fire on hopefully the right-hand side to give service and to hopefully score some goals as well.
We've seen him used in different positions. Tonight we know he'll start on the right-hand side. Do you think that's better? Suits his game more? Oh,
I think so, yeah. For me, up front, he's probably isolated. On the right-hand side, he can run at players. Admittedly, his probably strong point isn't defensive duties. He's more an attacking player. So I'm sure Grant's going to give him that, licence to really, do his bit, especially in that front third. But in saying that, defensively, he's going to have to do a job as well, as are all his teammates.
Interesting to hear him speak during the week. He was talking to the media in Sydney and spoke about Grant Brebner's style of coaching and said it's all about the Victory style. And then he spoke about what the Victory style is: exciting, direct and attacking. And Marco spoke about the fact that he'll have to lead as well as one of the senior players in the squad.
That's right, and now he's at 27 years of age. He's a fantastic age. I suppose initially he was one of the younger players. In terms of leadership, not much was expected of him. But now looking at this team sheet, it's quite young. He's one of those leaders. The 4 or 5 senior boys in the group. So he is going to have to step up. He normally does his talking on the field, but in terms of leadership, he's going to have to be vocal, making sure that he's doing his job and his mates around him are as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I'm sure he'll be very capable and he'll do extremely well.
Let's have a look at one of the key matchups for tonight. We touched on him a little bit earlier. Besart Berisha, a former Melbourne Victory legend, went over to the other side and is now at Western United. But James Donachie, he'll be the one that will be asked to keep a close eye on him tonight. Donachie will know him very well, obviously. How does he approach tonight's game?
He's got to see it as any other attacker. Obviously, he knows Bess very well. He even played with Bess at Brisbane in my time. So he knows him extremely well and he knows what he's capable of. So he's going to have to keep him, defensively he's got to keep him quiet. But in saying that, it starts from the front third. If we can put enough pressure on the Western United team so they don't get that service to, the likes of, Besart, Diamanti, then if we can limit their opportunities, hopefully we can do a job and we can hurt them going the other way. It's
about that supply, as you mentioned. Besart's got 14 goals this season from 19. It's an incredible striking record given his age. But we saw I remember one of the goals this year, I think it was in Geelong, where Diamanti just played a diagonal ball and Bess headed it from range. So it's not just in that in and around the penalty box. It's that Diamanti service as well.
Spot on, and he's been fantastic to watch. And we're going to have to nullify that threat. And Besart, as we say, we all know Besart, what he's capable of. We've got to make sure that we keep him quiet. He's just such a fierce competitor, but I'm sure we'll be able to contain him.
All right, as we continue our KFC match day preview, it's going to be a great contest between these two. Let's hear from the Melbourne Victory captain tonight, Lee Broxham.
Well, Broxy, we're finally here at Parramatta. How's the mood in the dressing room?
Yeah, it's been good. I've obviously had a couple of weeks away in quarantine. We found a good mix of team activities and giving the boys their own time and things that they need to do. And on the training pitch, it's been good as well. We've been able to get on the training pitch every day, and it's been a long time, and I think everyone's just looking forward to getting on the pitch and playing a game of football.
How's the squad handled the last 2 weeks?
Okay. There's been a few pranks and things like that, but you really got to commend the effort in training and the way the boys and the staff have conducted themselves in 2 weeks of not being able to leave the hotel or only going on the training pitch. And so you can only commend the whole group that's here in the way they've conducted themselves.
What's been the focus heading into tonight's match?
We've obviously looked at Western United a little bit, some of their strengths to a degree, and then we've just focused on what we want to do, how we want to play, and the things that we need to focus on with the team that we've got here. It's a game of football that Brebner said that it's there to win, and that's what we're going to do.
There's plenty of younger faces in the matchday squad tonight. What's been your advice to them?
I think when we got here, I spoke to a few of them that they've got an opportunity to play. Not in stone, but it can be decided in the first week of training. And a couple of guys have trained really well since we've been here, and before we got here as well, and taken everything in their stride. So there's a few guys that get their opportunity tonight, and I'm sure there'll be a few that will come on as well. In these circumstances, it's what it is, and that's sometimes what it takes. Maybe normally they wouldn't get a look in, but here they can get a look in, do well, and can build a career off it.
Brebsy takes charge of his first game tonight as well. How's he been with the group, and what's his message been?
He's been good. You can see he's always mindful of the needs of the boys, and still trying to drive the standards that you'd expect at Melbourne Victory as well. Being here for so long, he knows. He knows the standards that we like, and I think he's been great, and I think the guys will really want to try and get a win for him, and a good performance as well, because he's come in when the club's needed him, and he's been doing an amazing job.
What's the key to coming out on top tonight?
I think it's going to take from everyone a performance up at their best, and just the disciplined performance, and try and stay focused throughout. It has been disrupted in terms of obviously the couple 2-3 months that we haven't been able to play, and then the fiasco getting up here as well was a bit tough in terms of the week of training. So we had a good 2 weeks. So in terms of all that, it will be as the game draws on, the younger guys staying focused, and the older guys as well, and making sure we keep a disciplined performance for the whole time.
All the best for tonight, Broxy.
Thank you.
Game number 311 tonight for Lee Broxham. Extraordinary. You were there in season 1 when I think he was probably cleaning boots, Michael. It seems like nothing phases him. Whatever job is given to him, he does it and takes it in his stride.
Spot on. He's been amazing for Melbourne Victory, and especially now he's going to be needed. His leadership is second to none. He touched on that interview, had a bit of a chuckle when he said, fiasco, but you know what? They've dealt with it, they move on. He was very diplomatic in his answer there, but it's all about the performance, and that's the messaging we're constantly getting from Grant and himself, and the players that have been interviewed during the week. So it's just about what can we control? Can we control our performance? Can we put in a good performance, and hopefully the result will take care of itself.
All right, time now for our Metricon team announcements. Let's have a look at the starting 11 formation for Melbourne Victory firstly tonight. And Grant Brebner makes a few changes to the side, and we touched on Birkin Kurta coming in. He'll play in the number 10 role this evening. Matt Acton starting in goal. Start with that one, Michael, as a great goalkeeper yourself. What did you make of Grant Brebner with Matt Acton starting this evening?
Yeah, well, this is Matty Acton's first game of the season. He sustained an injury, a shoulder injury, and was out for 3 or 4 months. So it's great to see him between the sticks. I know he's put in a lot of work, and Lawrence Thomas, I think during this COVID period, spent some time for family reasons away in Sydney. So Grant's obviously given Matty a chance, and I'm sure he'll take his opportunity, as will a lot of these other players as well.
Aaron Anderson is the other big name in there, a young boy who we'll hear from in a moment, but what a night for him and his family, a debut for Melbourne Victory in the senior team.
Yeah, spot on. You always remember your debut, don't you? So I wish Aaron well, and obviously his family will be looking on with great excitement and obviously nerves as well. But he'll do a great job. He's got Jimmy Donks or James Donachie next to him, and Traore and Stormaru as well. So it's quite an experienced back four, and they're going to have to work well to keep obviously Western United out.
One of the things I've really enjoyed watching since the A-League has commenced is seeing a lot of youngsters getting their opportunity in the A-League, and tonight we have a look at that bench, and there's plenty of youth who'll come in and get some game time this evening.
Yeah, exactly right. Not just tonight, Zappers. Over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to be playing 5 games, so they'll definitely be getting an opportunity. We've touched on a few of those young players, and one thing you can rely on is their genuine excitement. They're going to work extremely hard. They're not going to let you down, put it that way. So great opportunity for them. Generally, if we had those names that we spoke about before, the Olas of the world and whatnot, they probably wouldn't get this opportunity, but they have, and it's up to them to obviously grasp it.
It's been one of the great bugbears of the Socceroos and Olyroos coach Graham Arnold that boys under 23 aren't getting game time in the A-League, and they will be doing so, as you said, in the final 5 rounds of the campaign. Let's have a look at Victory's opponents tonight. Western United, plenty to play for as well. They're right in the hunt for a top 6 berth, and Mark Rudan names his starting 11, and the names we expect to be a menace tonight are there. Besar Parisha starting in that number 9 role. Alessandro Diamanti signed with this club 1 year ago to the day. So a big night for Diamanti. He'll be in the A-League extending his contract a few weeks ago. And a few names that Melbourne Victory fans would be obviously very familiar with too. Young Seb Pasquale. Great to see him starting tonight.
It is. He's had his injury concerns as well, so great to see him out there. And looking at that starting 11, it's a pretty experienced lineup. They'll head into this game quite confident, having had those 2 victories in the last 2 games, encounters. But I tell you what, they're not too sure what Melbourne Victory is going to throw at them. So they're going to have to make sure that they're switched on to get the result that they want.
Yeah, they're an attacking side. We spoke about that, and Mark Rudan will certainly be looking at tonight to make it 3 on the trot for his side against Melbourne Victory, and it will be a fascinating encounter. I think if we have a look at the past games, what we know is going to be opened, and with Grant Brebner saying he wants his team to attack and take risks, and if they make mistakes, do it again. That just talks to an open game, especially with the conditions that Speedy spoke about a bit earlier.
Spot on, and as a player, that's what you want to hear from your coach. You want to hear, you know what, I know they're going to make a mistake, but that's okay. It's how you react, how you respond, and the non-negotiables are your effort, your attitude, and that's a given. This Melbourne Victory team, club, it's got such a rich history. So when you're putting on that shirt, there's a certain mark that you have to hit, and Grant Brebner's going to be making sure that they put in a good performance.
A debut tonight for Aaron Anderson, thanks to KFC. Let's learn a little bit more about the Melbourne Victory debutant.
I'm Aaron Anderson, central defender at Melbourne Victory. I'd probably describe myself as hard-working. I like to get stuck in. I like to think of myself as a solid defender, so that's probably the way I'd describe myself. Any trip I get away with the first team's a great experience. Within this environment, it's always going to be intense, and every session I'm learning more from the boys, and the boys are taking a lot of us younger boys like myself under their wings and things. So everyone, they're out having a laugh, but when it's time to work, they're all working. So it's been good. My first year at the club as a youth player, he was my coach then. So I've got obviously a good connection with Brebsy as well, and I think it's important to have a good connection with your coach as a player, and having him in my first year and having him now, it's great, I just hope to get as many minutes as I can. Brebsy said that he's if the young boys are performing during training, he'll give them a chance. So for myself personally, I'm hoping to perform in training and hopefully get the opportunity to get my A-League debut.
Oh, he looks like a central defender, doesn't he, Michael? Big, strong, and we look forward to seeing him in action tonight. And a cheerio to Josie and Rob, his parents, who I'm told will be watching tonight. I'm sure they've got no fingernails left, and we look forward to seeing Aaron for many, many years to come. Michael, how do you see it playing out tonight? A score prediction before we go?
I'm going to go the upset, Zappone. I'm going to say a victory 2-1. It's going to be tough, but I think if we can get the front 3 firing and Andrew and Marco on the score sheet, there's no reason why we can't limit their opportunities.
We hope you've enjoyed the first edition of Victory TV. Don't forget, we'll be here for the remainder of the season. Wednesday night, we'll be back. We want to hear from you, what you thought of the show. We'll take some of your questions in next Wednesday night's preview against the Brisbane Roar, his old team, Michael. Theo, thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Pleasure
I
being
think
here.
he did okay. I think we might have him back next Wednesday night. We look forward to tonight's game. Make sure you tune in on Fox Sports and KO. And until next time, it's goodbye from me, Michael Zappone, and Michael Theo.